my mission is communication. My mission is to help people communicate at the highest level that they possibly can. That means something different for everyone. I want everybody to be heard, be understood, and be unforgettable. So we work on what are those nuances? What are those little things that make you be heard and be understood, and then at the highest level, be unforgettable? This is really about being understood first, and I will show you a little taste of what it is to become unforgettable towards the end. But this is the basic, the core of why intonation is so important. I also want to mention that I am a speech language pathologist. I've been doing this for over 22 years now, and I have always loved helping people communicate at every level. If it was a child, maybe that could not speak, that child could make eye contact. They could make hand gestures. That is part of communication. So communication is not always talking, but yes, we help people be better at their conversations, more clear, more confident, and in a way that makes them feel that they are unstoppable. So let me talk about what intonation is. Please, this is going to be interactive. So if I ask a question, I've already put the answer on. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. I was going to ask you what your thought, what your feeling is about what defines intonation. And we'll let you jump in on the next slides and questions. But intonation is truly the melody of a language, and it's important for natural sounding speech. I have Javier jumped in. And so, is your first language Spanish, Javier?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Okay. So, if I spoke Spanish with the American characteristics or the characteristics of American English, I would
Right.
have an accent. That is all an accent is, by the way. An accent is when you learn a new language, but you use the characteristics of your first language, and that's where it gets to be accented. Now,
Yeah.
how do you be best understood? Now, you understand that, Javier. You are an English teacher, as am I correct?
Yes, I am.
Right. So, does that make complete sense to you, sir?
Definitely.
Okay. So the intonation is so important to teach someone. It's more important because these ears of ours, these people like me, Javier speaks at least two languages. A lot of people speak two, three, and more languages. I speak one. And I don't feel bad about that, but I only speak one fluently, and that is American English. It's the way I was brought up. And so I just know those natural nuances, but I've always heard American English. There was a study done in a German hospital, and bear with me for those of you who have heard this before, but this hospital studied babies who were crying. And when they sent a German-speaking person into the room to settle a crying baby, the baby calmed down quicker than if they sent a non-native speaker in. Now, why is that important? That's important to understand, and I love it that it was in a German study and not an American English study. But the reason it's so important is because the babies, before they're even born, are actually hearing the melody of their native language. So they would hear how a German speech pitches and rises and pitch falls sound. And so they were calmed by not their parents, 'cause everybody knows parents and babies, there's a special connection, but by other German speakers. How does that translate to where we are here? American English listeners will understand you better if you speak with the American intonation pattern that we're going to teach, reteach, and reinforce here today. So I've got a sentence here, a very short sentence, and I'm going to read it to you in three ways. This is where I want you to turn on your listening. The listening, this is not about emotional listening and emotional rapport, which is always so important in communication. That would be another topic. This is about listening to where the rise in pitch, which means the tone, the melody goes up or comes down. Now, you will see me use my hand a lot. In the beginning, you'll see it very deliberately going up and coming down. That's because we teach with a method called the staircase method. And it's like going up a stair and coming down a stair. So if I read this in a flat and monotone style, and many East Asian people speak with a flat monotone style, there's nothing wrong with what they're saying. It's just that is the natural way that they speak. It's very choppy. So it might be, I don't know. All on that same pitch. If you can see my hand, maybe I'll put it on the black sweater. I don't know. And there's a lot of breaks between. We typically would say, I don't know. I don't know. See how it kind of flows together? And again, that's another topic for later as far as linking the words and making them sound fluent. But I want you to hear the way I'm going to read these three sentences so you get used to what we're looking for in this presentation. Flat and monotone, I don't know. With a rising pitch, I don't know. And with a falling pitch, I don't know. Now, who wants to tell me which one sounded the most confident? Does anybody want to tell me? Is it flat and monotone? Give me a thumbs up. None. Good. That is not a natural English speaking pattern. Okay, someone thinks that that was natural sounding. What about with a rising pitch? I don't know. Okay, somebody thinks that that sounds natural. Let me tell you, American English, it's the falling pitch that sounds natural. I don't know. When you end on a downward pitch, a downward note, if you play music, you would understand pitch, a note up, a note down. And you're going to see me use my body like that too. A note up, a note down. And these are all visual cues that I'm giving to you to help you with this. So you don't want to say, I don't know. You want to say, I don't know. Stepping down some stairs. Okay, that's our first example. And this is just to get you listening to the what we're actually going to be discussing in depth in a few minutes. Okay, so now if I wanted to say, oh, really, I didn't read it with any emotion there yet. But this is where it gets the tonality of your voice. Your pitch rises, your pitch falls, and your facial and body language also help. This is the stuff that actually gets you to be unforgettable. Again, we're talking about being understood today, but these are the little nuances that really make a difference. So, if I were to read this in an excited way, so somebody tells me something and I get really like, I'm excited about it, I go, oh, really? And there's a big pitch rise at the end. Did you hear that? Oh, really? I kind of even slid up. Oh, really? If I was going to be a little sarcastic, like I didn't believe the person, I'd also change my facial and body gestures as well. And I'd be like, oh, really? Like it's so it still goes up in pitch, but did you hear that kind of snarky, sarcastic thing there going on? Like, oh, really? If I was doubtful of what they said, so I just didn't believe what they said, I might say, oh, really? Like, like I've never heard that before. That's what oh, really is saying. Even though again, it was a pitch rise with this question. It's very like, I don't know, I heard it was gonna be sunny today and you said it's gonna rain. I'm like, oh, really? That's a very simple example. But what if I'm genuinely interested? And that's such a big part of communication and conversational skills. I could almost lean in a little and say, oh, really? Oh, really? So I'm still going up in pitch, but there were different ways I said it. Can I get a thumbs up if that came across, that you can hear the difference in the simple two words? Oh, really? Thank you.
Hey,
Uh,
Linda,
yes, Joe.
I was just practicing along with you, and I'm not
Yes,
sure if that's something that you had said or mentioned earlier,
yes.
but just how incredible it is as you're going through this, if people are in a space where they can practice, to actually be practicing alongside. It's a lot of fun.
That's
So thank
perfect.
you.
Okay, so let me ask for a brave soul to unmute and read to me, oh, really, in one of these four ways. Andrea Lamonaco, can you unmute and give me a sarcastic, oh, really?
Oh, really?
Say it again, please.
Oh, really?
Okay, is that sarcastic or is that doubtful? Could be
Mm,
either. But if we saw her, we would see those facial
yeah, that's a big part of it.
that would make her look like being sarcastic. Oh, really? Kind of like snarky, smirky. Okay. Um, can you Huyyan, Huyan? Is that how you say your name? Are you willing to unmute and give me an excited way of saying, oh, really? Mei Li, would you like to unmute? That's fine if you don't want to. We'll get more comfortable with this. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot, but if anybody has a question, wants me to repeat one of those, please just jump in like Joe just did. Okay, I really do appreciate that. CJ Lim as well. Just jump in and ask me a question. That really makes a difference in your learning and what you take away. And Javier, I will be picking on you a lot today, if that's okay, sir. Now, how do you find your optimum pitch? What is an optimum pitch? An optimum pitch is where you typically start your sentences. And it's this flat part where we typically start before we take a pitch rise or walk down a set of stairs. Where is that optimum pitch? Where do I start from? All of us have a different optimum pitch. There's no right or wrong. And the way we find it is we actually can say, uh-oh, like a little kid who just spilled something and went, uh-oh. If we say that, and you could say it behind the mic right now without us hearing you, but just say, uh-oh, uh-oh. Somewhere in between there is your natural optimum pitch range. Excuse me. As you probably know, children speak with a much higher voice, and older people actually, their voices go down as they get older. And that has to do with physiological reasons. The vocal folds, this is a little scientific, but for those of you who are into this information, it's really interesting. The vocal folds just don't vibrate as fast as we get older. So when they vibrate fast, the pitch is higher. When they vibrate a little slower, the pitch is lower. And so as we naturally age, our voices get lower. I'm sure my voice is a lot lower now than it was when I was in grammar school. So that's how you find your optimum pitch. And this is important, as you will see in the next slide. So we're going to talk about the basic American intonation staircase. Now, this little diagram is what I want you to just look at and burn it into your brain. Now, burn it into your brain would be an idiomatic expression, and it means just really remember it. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my annotations working, but the very first step, excuse me, is your optimum pitch. Okay, so you're going to start out there. And then on the second or third word or second or third syllable, you're going to take a pitch rise and walk down a set of stairs, ending on a downward pitch. When you end on a downward pitch, you sound most confident. Trust me on this. Now, when I was talking about my East Asian clients, for instance, they talk within a pitch range. Maybe there's some ups and downs, but it's relatively flat. As soon as they bring that pitch up and pitch down, there's a wider pitch range. Okay, there's a wider pitch range. So this is your basic staircase. I'll show you how to make it your own a few slides down, but start out at your optimum pitch and you go up and down a set of stairs. Okay, that's step one. Now, I'm going to move my little floating head around a little bit. I love my new job. Do you hear that? I love my new job. Again, I'm animating this for you so you can see it. I love my new job. There's a much wider pitch range than that monotone way of reading it. I love my new job. It doesn't sound like you love it. Sounds kind of boring. I love my new job. So I love my new job. I have people who actually will draw out the staircase and write their words on the staircase when they're first learning this. Okay. It gets much more natural. Again, you might be doing this already, but as you go into your world after this webinar, I want you to listen to American English speakers and model someone who's good, but also listen for those pitch rises and falls. And then it will make sense to you. Or if you're American English speaker, like Joe Wexler is, for instance, he's going to say, "Oh my gosh, I do this all the time, but I didn't even know I did it." Am I correct, Joe?
100%. And I was just thinking about a comedian that once said, the way that you say, I love my wife, you have to be very careful with as well.
I
I love
love
my
my
wife.
wife, right? I love my wife, or I love my oh, that's funny, Joe. That is good. Okay, so maybe I can join the comedian circuit soon. Um, okay, Javier, making sense?
Definitely, yes. It does
Okay.
make sense.
All right, perfect. Anybody else have a question? Be careful. That was good, Joe. Okay. Um, Christian, is it time for you to take over the slide for this little animation that we have? Okay.
Yeah, let me
So,
help you out.
yes, please. Thank you. Okay, so this is a little dude we have called Buddy, and it's for be understood. And he's walking along at his optimum pitch right here, just walking. Then he jumps up a pitch and walks down a set of stairs. And actually, he falls off at the end. Well, we might touch on that a little bit today, but if you can you replay it, Chris? He's going to walk at his optimum pitch. That's that flat step. He's going to jump up, make that effort to jump up, and walk down a set of stairs, and then he falls off. I'll give you the quick answer to when I said stairs. It actually comes down a little. That is quite an advanced technique, but we do have Buddy falling off at the end, even though I said I wanted you to end on a downward pitch and I want you to walk on those steps very deliberately. The last stair, when you get to be more natural and fluent sounding, you will come actually down a little. Like so Buddy walked, jumped up, and came down a set of stairs. Stairs. Okay. So that's a little nuance that you might not understand or you might not even practice right away. Chris, if you can go back to the regular slides, that would be great. Okay, I hope that also made sense to everybody. Javier, did you realize that we actually drop down a little bit at the end of the staircase? Or is that something new that I've described to you today?
Yes, I did. I realized, but that, and also I had seen it through different parts of the course that I've been taking with you.
Okay, great. So Javier is
So
enrolled
it's I'm
in,
like reinforcing
yes.
the idea of the staircase technique.
That's wonderful. So Javier is one of our students in our course. And so our course is a blended style course where Javier can go at his own pace, or he can send me short messages, video messages, and I answer him asynchronously, which means not in real time, but directed to him. So if he has a question on how to correct something, he can ask me the question and I can share the answer with him. One of the benefits of working with us, if anybody would like to, later on, we can talk about how to, but this is really about giving you value right now. But if you were to work with us, one of the most important things is we do give feedback. If you're learning something online, you might be just learning it and practicing it the wrong way. So, more on that later if you have any questions. So, now we're going to move to something called the grand staircase. Now, the grand staircase is really much more about how we speak. And if you can, I can move my head down a little bit. Let's see. Or over, I'll put it in there. I'm having fun with this, guys. Okay, so while you can't see my annotation, I'm going to show you that this is actually two staircases put together. And the grand intonation staircase is, picture it as much more conversational speech. We do have short sentences like, you know, I woke up or something like that. But the way our longer sentences take form is we actually put two staircases together. Now, the most important thing here to take away is you start out at your optimum pitch, you see that, and then you take a pitch rise and you walk down. But then your next pitch rise you take doesn't go as high as the highest pitch raise. It just goes back to that optimum pitch rise, sorry. So on this, and we will give you a sentence so it will make sense, okay? But I just want you to visually see that there's two staircases put together and they're just offset just a little bit. Why? Because we never go to that highest pitch in a grand staircase. You will have sentences that will have three or even four pitch rises in it as you develop your conversational speech. Okay, so let me show you. There it is. All right. So in this little demonstration diagram, what I've put in here is I've actually split a word into two different syllables. And that's important because there is a part of what we call the pitch rise that I also call stress. Stress in a word, stress in a sentence, stress in a phrase. Actually, it would go word, phrase, which is a little longer, sentence, which is the longest. So over here, I'm going to start out with I am on that flat optimum pitch. And then I'm going to take a pitch rise, getting the hang of this now. I am getting the hang of this now. Do you see how hang never gets higher than I am, or that ting, the second syllable of the word getting? Now, we don't say it this robotically. I am overemphasizing this for dramatic effect. I am getting the hang of this now. How does that translate into natural sounding speech? Because if you said it that way, that's really the way you practice it and listen for it. But so so actually as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about this. With me teaching you how to say it, you will better understand an American English speaker as well. Oh gosh, it looks like I have a halo on right now. Sorry about that, guys. So I am getting the hang of this now. I'm going to start speeding that up a little bit. I'm getting the hang of this now. You'll even see my hands doing less demonstrative, pitch rises and falls. I'm getting the hang of this now. I'm getting the hang of this now. I'm getting the hang of this now. The biggest takeaways: start out at your optimum pitch, take a pitch rise, walk down as many stairs as you need to before you need to emphasize or stress your next word, which was hang, and always end on a downward pitch to sound more confident. Hear how I went down? To sound more confident. Okay. How are we doing on time, group? Good. We're doing great. All right. So now we have short phrases, which is the simplest of the staircases. And I teach it last because the others are more complicated. But here are just short sentences, and all you do is start at your optimum pitch and walk down. So this will be an easy, really quick lesson. Just what I want to talk to my East Asian speakers about is, remember, your speech variation, your vocal variety is usually within a smaller upper and lower limit. And what I want you to do is stretch that higher level and lower level. And that will add excitement into your voice and more natural sounding speech. So have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend. Okay? Easy. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. But you wouldn't say see you tomorrow. That's the very unconfident or and confusing, right? You wouldn't say have a good weekend. Now, maybe some South Asian folks actually they have a very melodic rhythm, like have a good weekend. My friends from Tamil India, Tamil Nadu, in fact, have a good weekend. Is Surab on today? He was going to join us. Surab, if you're here, can you unmic and tell me if that is no, we don't see him. Okay. He is one of my co-hosts from other shows before, and he's a fabulous public speaker in India, actually from Mumbai, and he is wonderful at demonstrating this. Okay, so another really quick one, and this the only reason I added it is to reinforce that you might want to draw if you're new to this, you might want to just draw that staircase. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Very simple, simple step down method. Okay, so recapping what we did so far, we had our basic staircase, which uh, is the biggest thing you need to remember that we start at our optimum pitch. It's the most important. You start at your optimum pitch, you go up and you come down a set of stairs. The grand staircase, put two staircases together, offset them a little. Whoop, sorry, opposite on hands, offset them a little, and then you are speaking more fluently in longer sentences. And a simple step down method for very short phrases. Okay, let's just move on a little bit. Okay, this is where I teach you a little bit of vocal variety. And the importance of this is because I don't want you to walk away from this. Maybe you're a newer English speaker, or maybe you're quite advanced and you're thinking, this is too basic. This is kind of boring. Where do I really get to sound authentic? And where do I get to stress? Hear that word again, stress, the important part of a sentence. So I took two sentences that are identical, but I'm going to take that pitch rise in a little different place. So your staircase, if you were drawing it, might look a little different, but understanding that that is the basic concept. Okay, can I get a thumbs up on that, that you're understanding what we're going to do here now? We're going to add, thank you, we're going to add a little vocal variety to make it more authentically you and to make it a little bit more fun and natural sounding. That is where you want to get to. By the way, we do this webinar on the third Thursday of every month. And our next third Thursday in April, we are going to be talking about where to put the stress in words. So just like in a two-syllable word and a three-syllable word, in phrases and in sentences. So it'll be a continuation of this model, but bringing even more excitement to it. So here you go. I think her new job is a great fit. That is that basic staircase model that I showed you. I think her new job is a great fit. I had to kind of go a little low there. What if I want to stress a different word in that same sentence? It's still the basic intonation staircase, but it's giving you your vocal variety. It's making you become your authentic self. So I think her new job is a great fit. Look how I went up on the word new. I think her new job is a great fit. You could say even, I think her new job is a great fit. What is the word you want to stress? What is the word you want to emphasize? I do have a little trick to that, which we'll talk about next month, as far as how you hold that word that you want to stress. And you hold that word a little longer, make it a little louder, and make it a little higher. We'll get into that next month. But I wanted to show you that You don't have to sound robotic. I want you to practice this if it's new to you, but I don't want you to sound robotic. I want you to be able to stress the word you want to stress. What I also want you to do is stretch your confidence a little, like expand your horizons, stretch your pitch range from going up higher and going down even lower. And that will make you sound authentically American. Now, when I say authentically American, I am not trying to take away anyone's cultural identity. I am not trying to change who you are. I'm trying to help you be better understood. So be heard first, be better understood, and then be unforgettable when you speak. So we'll try this with another two sentences. Actually, would anybody like to read these for me? I'd love for someone to read these for me. Someone, it could be Joe, it could be Javier, anybody who's comfortable with this, and just take that red word and make it higher than the words around it. Javier, would you like to try?
Yes, I go for number two.
On number
I
two, I really, that one.
one. Okay, okay, okay. I think your new job is a great fit.
Okay. Did everybody hear him go up with, I think her new job is a great fit? If so, thumbs up. Super. Okay. Now read it in the second way I have it.
I think your new job is a great fit.
Absolutely. And interestingly, he did very naturally say new, new. He held it a little longer. He made it a little louder and he made it a little higher. So he did that naturally at this point. Remember, Javier's first language is Spanish. He lives in Mexico and he is an English teacher. So he is one of my very wonderfully accomplished students. Okay. Anybody want to read the second set of words? Joe, you're welcome to jump in if you're still here, or maybe you had to jump off. Okay. Anybody else? How about Christian? How about you read these two to me? Now, Christian is from the Philippines. His first language is Tagalog. So, Chris, can you read the second number one for me?
Yeah, sure. So second one is I think her new job is a
Nope, no, no,
great
no,
fit.
no. Sorry, bud.
Oh,
Go to
sorry.
I really.
Okay. I really need to go to the post office.
Okay. Nope. The first one of the second. Maybe I wasn't clear.
Okay, I'm really sorry.
No, that's okay,
Okay, so
buddy.
for the first one, so it's I really need to go to the post office.
Good. In the second way we could say that?
So the second one is I really need to go to the post office.
Perfect. Did everybody? Yes, he's getting an applause. Super. Okay, so do you see how this has given you some vocal variety, authenticity, and a way to move my staircases around a little bit so that you can really make the sentence your own? Okay? All right, let's see what else we have. All right, so if anybody wants to boost their fluency, we actually have um, two ways you can do that. Well, we have lots of ways you can do it. But first, I offer everybody a free 30-minute speech screening and consultation. And okay, so is that above this webinar chat? Yes. Okay. So if anybody wanted me to give them a half hour all to yourself, we can just jump on a call. This is the Calendly link. You would schedule a call with me, and I would give you an evaluation of your speech. I would tell you a couple of things you can do and you can implement right away by yourself, for yourself, takeaways, and grow in your speech. That's the first way. If someone has already had that half hour with me, but still has some questions, they're absolutely free to book a 15-minute coffee chat with me and I'll go over some of your concerns. We do have a special offer. If anybody after their their 30-minute call, and if it is your first time with a 30-minute call, ends up joining one of our programs, we do have a 25% discount on those programs. We have very different programs. We have some that are like Javier's in right now, which is self-led, self-directed, which is a lot of, actually, Javier, why don't you say what it is? Like videos, what else?
It's everything video. Uh, Also, some handouts with practice that we can do on our own. Yes. And also there's a possibility of recording ourselves, uh, whether on video or just audio, and send it to you so that you can analyze our speech and then provide feedback based on our performance in each of the exercises.
That's wonderful.
I really, really recommend. I think it's marked a difference. I mean, before and after I started doing this very interesting course.
So do you find it a different approach than other courses, Javier? Do you find that this is a different That's okay.
I
Do you find that this is
muted
different?
myself.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. I hadn't found anything like this before, and I'm seriously, I've taken different courses because one of my main objectives is to improve my speaking and to sound as natural as possible.
You sound wonderful, Javier. And is it helping your business actually? Because you're an English teacher in Mexico.
Yes, definitely. Yeah,
Great.
definitely. Because
I-
in this way, I've come to understand different aspects of how the the language works, I mean, how intonation works. And it's, as you said, it's not just about worrying about having more vocabulary or speaking faster, or this is just discovering uh, your own self in the way you speak and
Great.
how this can have an impact in your everyday communication.
Oh, thank you, Javier. That means a lot to me and us at Be Understood. Thank you so much. What I wanted to tell you for anybody who may have to jump off, we are going to have some practicing now, where we're going to show you different slides, right? Okay, so let's challenge time. So we're going to show you, now Javier's seen these before and in the course, but what I'm going to do, and I'm going to just make myself a little smaller here, Christian. Let's see if I could do that. Yeah. Um, we're going to actually read the sentence and you're going to say, is it A, is it B, or is it C? This is built into, we're actually trying to build it into every module so that it is reinforced in every module. If it's not there yet, Javier, it's coming, but we are going to do this with every module because it is so important. So if I said the chair, I'm not going to use my hands, okay? I'm going to sit on my hands, okay? The chair is squeaking and needs oil. The chair is squeaking and needs oil. Okay, so which one is it? A, the basic staircase, B, the simple step down, or C, the grand staircase? CJ, could you just type in if it's A, B, or C? The chair is squeaking and needs oil. Anybody else want to type in the chat which staircase this is? Okay, unmute, jump in. Anybody? Melissa? Okay, we got one. Let's see. Okay, you said, so CJ, you said B, which is the simple, thank you for jumping in. That means a lot to me, CJ. So if I said it as in B, it would be the chair is squeaking and needs oil. So this is more of an example of C. The grand staircase. The chair is squeaking and needs oil. Did you see how I came up? Okay, Melissa. Okay, you thought it was A, but it's actually C. I love the participation. Thank you so much. It is actually C. The chair is squeaking and needs oil. Okay, that was great because I thought, wow, you also thought it was A, Chris? Well, we got to do some work with you, buddy. Christian works with me, guys. Oh, folks. All right, let's try another one. I'm not going to use my hands, got to sit on my hands, always use my hands. But part of that is because I come from an Italian heritage, folks. So that's just a little joke, a cultural joke. But she has traveled all around the world. She has traveled all around the world. A, B, or C? Type in your answer. She has traveled all around the world. We're getting some. Okay. Anybody brave enough on this one? She has yes, Melbert A. Great. Melissa, Steph A. Okay. Melissa, you're guessing it's B, but that's great that you tried it. Thank you for trying. B would be she has traveled all around the world, just walking down a set of stairs. With the she has traveled all around the world. I did take a pitch rise. She has traveled all around the world. So the answer here would be A, although it's that modified A, which we talked about at the end, where we kind of moved the stressed word, the pitch word, up. Okay. Is everybody having fun? If so, yes, we could do a few more. Okay, let's do a few more. I want you to hear it. I want you to get, yes, more. Great. All right, let's do more. All right. Look, see, I always go with my hands, guys, folks. Okay. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. A, B, or C? Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see who we got. No, it is B. It is Melissa. Great job, Melissa. Let's give a hand to Melissa. All right. Yay, Melissa. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I didn't say happy birthday. I said happy birthday. Excellent, Melissa. You turned on your ears. You heard where the pitch rise was. Yay. Okay, let's do a few more. Again, I tried to keep this to around 45 minutes. We have an hour scheduled, but if we're involved and having fun and still learning, we've got you. Okay, so now there is a hint here. If it's a longer sentence, just giving you a little hint, you might want to think about that might want to help you think about which staircase it is. Okay. So I did give you a hint, hands under my my lap. If you ask me, she is not great at her job. If you ask me, she is not great. I can say she is not great at her job or she is not great at her job. So let me do it again. If you ask me, she is not great at her job. A, B, or C? Okay. CJ Lim, C, you got it. And I don't know if CJ, great Javier, if you got it from my saying when it's a longer sentence, typically it's a grand staircase because typically there's more than one pitch rise. Okay, so if you, we could say it this way, if you ask me, instead of if you ask me, right? That's where your vocal variety comes in. That's where you bring your personality in. But listen, I definitely had two pitch rises. So if you ask me, she is not great at her job. So C is the answer. Great, Javier. Excellent. Okay, couple more. Thanks for lunch. Thanks for lunch. A, B, or C? Thanks for lunch. I'm getting some B's in here. Do I have any other guesses? I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I'm getting some B's in here. Ask and not. Oh, good. Thank you for saying that. Okay, it is B. Simple. Short sentence. Thanks for lunch. Thanks for lunch. Thanks for lunch. A little robotic, but clear. Thanks for lunch. We actually don't even say for, we say for. Another lesson, another time. We have social media channels. We are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn, and we have examples and videos going out every week. So if you want to practice with us without getting too involved or joining our courses, there's plenty of room to do that. If you want to join our course and grow like Javier, book a free consultation. If you don't want to join our course, still book a free consultation, and I can give you some targeted feedback that will help you improve. Okay, we have just a couple more. She is planning to look for a new job. She is planning to look for a new job. I might have given it away a little with some head movements, but okay, A, B, or C? I'm not going to say if it's right or wrong yet, but I got a C so far. CJ, you want to guess? She is planning to look for a new job. How many pitch rises did I have? If I had more than one, it can't be A. Excellent, CJ. You're getting the hang of this. Excellent. I love it. All right. Um, couple more. Oh, not, nope. It's claim your free speech consultation with me. Um, I'd like to just make me bigger now, guys, and say thank you so much for coming. This meant a lot to me. Join us the third Thursday of next month. Can one of my team look at the date of that, please? And so we can actually give a date for our next LinkedIn Live event, learning event. We actually, it's not like it's a webinar, it's a learning event, whatever, but it is live. So there's this interaction. Give us the next date for that. Okay, is April 17th. Perfect. Look for our registration. Follow us on social media and just join in the movement of practicing your American English in the correct way. I don't want you just going to any YouTube. There are a lot of great teachers out there, but if they don't give you feedback, you could be practicing wrong. To my South Asian clients, there's a word that is awfully difficult for them, and it's develop. They say develop. They do like they take three syllables and go down like that staircase. Develop. It's develop. And if they continue to say develop, 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 that is a word that won't be understood. So the other takeaway here is that there will be words that you might not know how to pronounce perfectly. That's okay. Progress over perfection is really important. And the other thing is, after intonation, we don't only work on intonation, as Javier will tell you. Then we actually will take just a few sounds of your native language and pick out which few sounds would make the greatest impact on improving your speech. So it's not like you have to learn every sound. You can actually throw away all those books that you learn from. So we do intonation first, and then we take a few sounds that are difficult because they don't exist in your native language that might make you be better understood. And then lastly, we work on that fluency. How do the words flow together and make it sound as natural as possible? Do I have any final questions? Please unmute and let me know. Any final questions? CJ, can you give us a thumbs up? And if I'm saying Huyan correctly, I try to say all names with respect and appropriately. I don't try to change anything. just, give us a thumbs up if you like this and want to see more. Come back on April 17th or book a free call with me. All right, team. I think it's really hard to identify between these staircases. Melissa, thank you for saying that. That's why we practice them. And I will absolutely help you with that. Book a call with me, no obligation. Seriously, I'm not a hard salesperson. I really want to help people. So if you book a 30-minute free call with me, I can give you a few pointers, and it's direct one-on-one speaking. And so that would be really helpful for you. It is hard. So when you go out in your world, listen to an American English speaker. And when you're ordering coffee, if you get a chance to speak English on a regular basis, what do you want with your coffee? What do you want with your coffee? Not what do you want with your coffee? What do you want with, or what do you want in your coffee? It's not that. It's what do you want in your coffee? Okay, so there's a pitch rise. Thank you for saying it's really hard to identify between these staircases, but I'm glad I got invited by Melbert. Oh my gosh. Melissa, thank you so much for coming. Melbert, thank you for bringing her along. Okay, team, I think we're going to say goodbye and thank you all for attending. Thank you for joining us. And please, again, like Chris put in the chat, please don't hesitate to invite more people to the next webinar. Thanks very much. And Chris, you can sign us off.